This video was sponsored by EA. Hey guys, and welcome to yet another speed build. I say this like it's a regular thing, totally not. But once again, thank you very much to EA for giving me early access to the new Horse Ranch EP, which is out tomorrow, guys. This embargo lift is very, very close to public access day, so yeah, you've only got to wait like a day, which is kind of cool that you don't see everything. You can't really see everything in 24 hours before it's out, but you can just get like a good enough taste to know whether or not you want to buy it, you know. So yeah, thank you very much for giving me early access. This is not final software. This is like a special version of the game that they give us access to in the EA app. So they get all our emails that are associated with our Origin IDs, and they send us this special version, and it literally just says The Sims 4, and it has a black cover, and it's in addition to the normal installation of The Sims 4. So yeah, it's not the proper final version, so if there are any glitches, assign it to that. There was one main glitch. I did not do any gameplay, of course. We know I'm not a gameplay queen. So I focus on building, and the only thing I really had a problem with was every time I opened up the game again, it said that it kind of treated it like it was a fresh installation of the new EP. So every time, everything you'll see, I will have gold stars next to all of the items, so you can tell whenever I've gone out of the game to take a break, or it's the next day and I've come back to a build, because all the gold stars appear again over all of the items. So that was the only thing that I kind of ran into, I think. I'm sure there's many others. I've seen many other things like weird horse movements and stuff, but it doesn't seem to be, from what I can grasp with other people giving feedback, I don't think it is another My Wedding Stories situation. Okay, so rest assured, if you do buy it on release, it's not going to be one of those ones again. Okay. But yeah, so I have set myself the task of doing 3 builds, and I've finished these builds as I speak now. So we're gonna have 3 videos up on the channel, speed builds. I know, console players also. It's only base game plus Horse Ranch, so you are sorted. It's not one of my CC filled builds. When this comes out, I am going to be going away. It is my birthday on the 24th. Just in case you hadn't guessed already, I am a Leo. Can you tell? Yeah, so it's my birthday on the 24th of July, and I will be away. I will be going to Greece for the first time. I've never been to Greece, so that is my summer hollabobs. And yeah, so I'm not going to get a chance to actually play the EP with like all of the other packs installed, like a proper installation in like on my computer and with CC. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to have the time to even touch this after it's released. I took this opportunity, I got offered the early access, and I decided to treat it like a great opportunity for me to actually build for once, because I never make the time, it's never possible, and because it was kind of something to a deadline, I felt like it was kind of just an opportunity for me to actually have some fun and build for once. Yeah, because I just don't normally make the time, so that's why I decided to do it. So we got 3 builds. I feel like that's as many builds as I've done in like the last year or something. But yeah, I thought, do you know what? If I take this, it means I know I'm going to have to build. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's what we did with it. So I took some time out away from making CC to build. I was kind of cursing myself at the time because I'm like short a month going away, don't want to work while I'm away. And we took on a bit too much work, you know? But just but I'm apparently a glutton for punishment. That's just me. I can't say no. You know, opportunity I just can't, I couldn't turn it down. So yeah, lucky you guys, I feel. But yeah, don't expect any builds with CC or afterwards. It's going to be these 3 builds, and then I'm gone again to CC land. But yeah, so this first build, this was the first build that I did do, so I probably took a little bit longer, like searching through the items and trying to decide like what items were relevant. I have to say, my initial feedback on this one, of course, we all were like, oh, for the love of sweet Jesus, why is there another American themed world? We all wanted horses. I'm pretty sure people wanted horses in cottage living, but you know, I'm okay with them holding horses back if they're done properly, and I think they really have done them properly from what I've seen. So yeah, I'm not one of those people that says, oh, this should have been in this pack or this should have been in that pack. There is a reason it doesn't go into a pack, and it is time limitations. Okay, there are always limitations to production time, and yeah, I feel like if you see that literally it's only horses that are coming with this, and nectar as well, but it obviously is a very big job if that is the main focus of this entire pack. So it's not something that could have been squeezed into cottage living. It's going to go really well with cottage living. I also feel like, personally, I know it was very obvious to do this whole, hey, we're in the Wild West. I think they said this kind of area is based on Utah. I'm sorry, I do not know American geography very well. I have no idea where Utah is. I've heard of Utah. Do I know what it looks like? No, not really. But this area is meant to be for Utah. You have like the town area that makes sense, and then there's like the far area that is kind of like dusky, dirty, and just like in the Wild West movies. It's like if someone builds like a saloon there, it would be perfect. So yeah, I've stuck to this like area that is meant to be based on Utah because it's just a little bit, it's greener. The other area was just like dirt, and I had no idea what to build. I would have no idea what to build in there, apart from I feel like that area, you either build like one of those like log cabin thingies, or you go all out modern. I would love to see someone do, I can imagine Aiden, as in Devon Bumpkin, doing like some amazing modern glass and black and I don't know kind of build in there. I just feel like that's the way to go in that area, because I feel like the cabins, they all kind of end up merging and looking like each other. So I think a modern build would be really striking in that landscape. But yeah, I've stuck with this area because I had more ideas and I wanted to be kind to myself. So yeah, this one, I have to say that yeah, the main feedback is when it comes to build items, they are very rustic. Now I know this is a very strange bit of feedback to say they're very rustic considering the theme of it, but some may say, by some I mean me and many others, that sometimes we don't want to just use them in a rustic way and we find it difficult. So the reference I have for this were actually all, I think for 2 of the builds were floor plans, and they were quite neat looking, and when I came to build them, they just looked rustic AF, and it wasn't the vibe I was going for. Like, I still feel like it can look a little bit neater and a little bit newer, not so lived in, I was trying to go for, and it just wasn't possible. And I was like, don't fight it, just lean into the rustic. So I would say, like, even these new kitchen counters, there is a new kitchen, rustic AF. Every single swatch is rustic, I think, apart from one, and I feel like it's meant to look rustic, but it just doesn't come off looking as rustic. The ones that I use in the interior, actually, that are the kind of less rustic looking ones, but I still think they're supposed to be rustic looking. So yeah, that's the thing. The columns, you'll see the column, there's a column right there that's base game at the moment, but I do switch them out. I tried first of all using the new columns that came with the pack, and I thought, oh, it's too rustic, I don't want it to be that rustic. So I used base game ones, and then in the end I was like, girl, just lead into the rustic, just do it. So I got rid of them, and I end up putting in the new columns that came with this pack. There are a lot of items that have clean swatches and then also have the rustic worn swatches, so they have both of them. The columns come in this fabulous clean swatch plus rustic swatch, but for some reason they decided that for the spandrels they weren't going to do the clean swatches, just the rustic ones. Now, Sims logic, I'm not too sure what the logic is, but it is most annoying. I think every builder was like, where are the swatches? You can't give me a nice clean looking painted or wood column and then give me only rustic spandrels. So yeah, I think that's the most annoying thing I've encountered while building, is that lack of clean swatch in the spandrels, because you want the spandrels to match the column. It looks really, really strange. Like, they're so rustic. The white swatch almost looks like it's got black worn bits, black or / grey worn bits in the white. It really doesn't look like white when it's the rustic option or the worn option. So yeah, that's annoying. And I that is initially why I used the base game spandrels. I initially used base game spandrels and columns because that annoyed the hell out of me, and then we just leaned into it and went rustic. So if you saw the reference for this, it looks not as rustic as this. It's not the vibe at all, but it was a good reference, like just for the shape still worked, but yeah, we leaned into the rustic. So I think with this pack, I'm gonna say, if you don't intend to build rustic, this would not be the pack for you in terms of build items, because everything is very rustic, very, very rustic. I have to say though, the vibes I'm getting from, I have done this build, I've done a farmhouse on the 64x64 lot. I know, I'm crazy. And then I've done a build which is a modern build, modern rustic I'm gonna call it, on because you can't not do rustic with this stuff, and that's on a 40x30. And with that one, when I was doing the bathrooms, I was like trying to, make it a little bit different, and I was doing some of the rustic swatches, and to me, if you are into this whole like wabi-sabi aesthetic and you would like to try and recreate that in The Sims, I think this set would be so great for it. I was the other day deciding that I was going to start another save file. This is personal use, this is not. So I always start off, I don't know if you know Jenba, she is a Tumblr builder, and I don't think she really hasn't been active lately, but ages ago she did a few world saves, and I used the world save that has Oasis Springs done, Newcrest done, and Willow Creek done. So all of the base game worlds she's managed to renovate, and they have families in there with backstories, and like all the community lots are done and everything, like they're fully, and also Magnolia Promenade is also done. And there's a few lots in other worlds that have been placed, like I know there's a couple lots in San Myshuno and stuff. So yeah, I use that as my base, and then I go through the other worlds and kind of renovate and add in lots. And so I was doing that, and I decided I had my sim made that I was going to start off with, and I decided to do an apartment, and I was like, I really want to do this in like this whole wabi-sabi Axel Verfort feeling of an apartment. I wasn't cheating, I only had like starter funds to do it, but I thought it was possible. I struggled so hard to find worn rustic stuff that I felt would go in this apartment, and especially wooden floors. And I have to say, the wooden floor that you see right now is absolutely chef's kiss. When it comes to the swatches, there is it reminds me of the mud tone that Felix and I use in our CC, where it's a almost dark grey, almost black, muddy kind of tone, but then the worn bits are a warm toned yellowy wood. So it has like this, and we have a swatch like that where like all the highlights and the worn parts always end up being a brown, so it looks like you've kind of got this whole worn look. And yeah, I just think the wooden floor is really, really, really nice. Yeah, if you want to do wabi-sabi, so I feel like I'm trying to tell you that this could be versatile for maybe more things than you think. It doesn't just have to be this kind of rustic, we're in Utah aesthetic, you know, we're in the Wild West, where, you know, cowboys and Indians are rolling past and stuff. So yeah, that's what, that reminds me, there are quite a few items that are influenced, or well, not influenced, they are Native American items, and those have to be my favorite pieces in the whole pack. Like everything that is Native American inspired is just, I love it. And I know I would moan for days about how this is an American themed world, but that touch I love. And also I just think the world looks gorgeous. Like if you look into the distance, the landscapes that you see in this world, I think they've done such a good job. The lighting is even nice. I was scared this is going to be like Oasis Springs yellow light, and it is not. It's more closer, I feel, to like Willow Creek. It's a blue light, but a soft blue, like not too much blue. You'll see the lighting here is not a true representation because I have reshade. Yeah, but you know, once you turn reshade on, you can't go back to in-game lighting. But I was originally with in-game lighting, and it is gorgeous. It's really soft, and it's like they've done a really good job with the lighting. But you know, if I've got access to reshade, I'm gonna use it. So yeah, and with reshade I use Kindle Spice's Dove preset, by the way, for everything. That's the only preset I use basically. It just looks gorgeous, right? It warms it up. It's stunning. I think they've done, the world is stunning. The items, the Native American items, there's like I think there's a fertility jug, there's like this woven basket, some of the rug like swatches are inspired by the patterns. Also they added in like some new swatches into base game items to match with these things, to like tie it all in. So if you go through base game, you'll see lots of extra swatches. You should know that by now, I think. And because the patch would have been a few days ago when you're watching this. And yeah, the new paving, I have to say, look at the new, like the stone paving, and you'll see some new swatches in some of the ugliest looking, formerly ugly looking paving that I would never ever think to use. I literally skipped over and didn't realise they'd added in these swatches because I never used the originals and they only ever had like one swatch in them. And so when you look in the catalogue, you just see the original swatch. You don't know there's added ones. And I would never think to use them, so I didn't even click through. But they added in some really nice ones. I don't think I use it in this build, but in the rustic modern build, that I do manage to use them on that. I think it's only that one. But yeah, look in base game, some extra swatches in wallpapers, in wooden floors, and in the stone paving section too. So yeah, we love it when they do extra swatches. There's also some Native American inspired hairstyles as well coming into CAS. For base game, I think there's 3 of them. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I was a skeptic when it came to this pack. but they have won me over, some may say, slightly. Yeah, I personally, if I was doing this, I would have loved them to maybe try and do some other country that has a history or is renowned for horses. And to me, I don't know much about it, but for me, I used to be a horsey person when I was little. I used to do horse riding, and to me, when I think of horses, for some reason I just think of Argentina, and I don't know what, like, I think they have a big culture of amazing horses, and so I would have loved for them to pick the less obvious place to do for horses rather than the most obvious. That's what I would have liked. Yeah, I just personally, this is my personal opinion, take it or leave it, but that's taking nothing away from the job that they have done on this one, because I think the theme that they did choose and the work that they put into it, I think they pretty much nailed it. I'm going to be honest. I think I'm going to say that they nailed the whole aesthetic, the items. The only feedback I have is I would like more matching swatches in clean and rustic options. Some of the side table you see there, it comes in some strange swatches that aren't in some other places. There's a lot of, also, yes, you could try and match the woods in a build with this pack. It is technically possible, but I think with this pack also I leaned into having mismatching woods. You'll see I have probably about 4 or 5 different wood tones throughout this build, whether it be in the spandrels, the doors, the shutters. There is a lot of different ones, and in the furniture pieces there's a lot of different woods, and I just think it's one of those styles where you can get away with it. And I don't normally mix wood tones too much, and I know the whole Harrie brand is kind of based on having matching wood tones throughout all sets, but for this one I feel like it's not so important. The only gripe I have is the spandrels not having a clean swatch on them. That is it. Apart from that, I think we're alright. But yeah, so in this bedroom, this house I haven't spoken about, the backstory, there is a backstory, which I need to speak quickly because we're nearly done. The backstory is that I thought this would be I didn't really think of the Sims per se, but I thought it would be maybe a couple with, obviously they have a female child, and they have a nectar business. So this one is purely based on nectar. There are amazing grape vines, this is built almost up on a hill, and there's grapevines leading up to it. My whole story is that the people that own this own that whole area around it. A lot of the lots in this world you will see are actually quite small, so this is a 30 by 20, but there is a lot of area around, and if you build your lot without fences, it looks like your sim owns that whole area. So that's kind of the way they've done it, that you own the entire area rather than just that tiny lot space, which is what you normally own in all the other words, just the lot you're on. So yeah, my pro tip would be to build without fences. So you'll see I put a fence around where you're meant to plant your fruit to make your nectar, and also just literally 2 panels of fence at the front to kind of highlight the driveway. But I would say don't build with a fence all the way around your lots, because it will make it look smaller and you won't be able to take advantage of the wider area that is around every single lot. There's lots of stuff to do in the area around lots. So yeah, I would say no fences if you want to take advantage of that. But here we are. Yes, they have a nectar business, so we have this whole thing. The only thing is I forgot to put the nectar storage where you age the nectar. I will make sure to get rid of a few of these crates here and put them in downstairs here in the basement. This basement is accessed by the left hand side of the build, so this outside, you go down the steps and you go into this. Actually, in game, your nectar ages faster if it's in the basement. It actually does. So that's why I'm going to knock some of those down. I didn't know that when I built this. I'm going to knock some of those decorative storage cases and put functional ones in. I don't think I put functional ones in here at all, which is my oversight because I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the time. But yeah, this side business, so it's like separate. You can have people. There's also like a guest bedroom downstairs. So I thought, you know, if they maybe have a client come over to talk business and put an order in for nectar, maybe they need to stay overnight, then at least they can be like a guest bedroom on the downstairs that they can use. But then you also have here, there's a bar in that area and you can like give away samples. Of course, it's very important that you've got a bar there for sales purposes, of course. So yeah, this little side entrance is a little bit more rustic, a little bit darker than the main house, but yeah, I really like this whole concept. That was the concept, was there's this business on the side and it's nectar. So this one, I didn't see horses being on this lot personally. I saw it as nectar, and there's those amazing like grapevines on the way up to the lot, so we went with that. I think it's called Grapevine Terrace. There was a house here that I demolished. I don't know who built it, but yeah, so we went with it. It's Grapevine Terrace. It makes total sense to do a nectar business here. So yeah, that is the most of it. So we're just putting the finishing touches into this side office bit. So there are 3 bedrooms in this house. One downstairs was meant to be a guest bedroom, a kid's bedroom upstairs, and then a double main suite. But yeah, you could alternatively, of course, the guest bedroom would be great if you have the grandparents visiting, if you've got growing together. I love the fact that we can have like stay over, like long-term visiting now with growing together, because I think that's great for like storytelling, gameplay, and we're always looking for like extra depth to add into gameplay. So yeah, it's great now to be able to put a guest room and it actually have a function, whereas before it was just purely decorative because no one could stay over. So yeah, that is everything. I had a lot of fun building this, and we're about to go into screenshots. I'm going to say I'm going to be back very soon. I actually can say this and it be true. I'm going to be back very soon with another speed build. As I said, I have 3 builds. So I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye guys!